Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to a brand new episode of my FM21 save with Everton. We are in the third season, if I'm not mistaken, in 22-23. So first things first, of course, brand new season. We don't know who we got in the Europa League yet. We will have that draw later on in August. So first things first, let's get to the transfers. And firstly, let's look at the players that have left the club. A couple of players that have gone for big money. Moise Kean has gone to Wolfsburg for 9 million. It could lead to 14 million. And Maximovic has gone to Lazio for 12.25 million euros. He's only played 9 games for us. I thought that we would use him more, but we didn't. So we sold him off. We got him on a free. We sold him for 12 million 1 year later. So I think that's a very good piece of business. And we sold Alex Iwobi to West Ham for 24 million euros. Everton bought him for 40 million a couple of years ago. We've now sold him for 24. I think for us in this save, that's a very good piece of business. We could do with the money, and let me tell you guys, we have definitely spent it. And in my opinion, in a good way. But I think that maybe some of you might disagree with me. So let's take a look at the players that we have brought in one by one. So the first player, most of you probably expected it. We have brought in Barkley on a permanent deal back to the Goodison Park. We had him on loan 14 games, 3 goals in those 14 games, and 2 assists as well. So I think we can be very happy with him as an attacking midfielder. The next player is a center mid, not an attacking one this time, more of a defensively minded midfielder, Marcos Antonio. We bought him from Shakhtar in Ukraine, of course, for 20 million euros. So we paid a lot of money for him, but I do definitely think he is worth it. He has already played a game and he played pretty well in that. So I think we can be very happy with this player. Also another midfielder, but I think we needed some backup in the midfield. And with the players that we have brought in this season, I think we've definitely done that. 2 more players left to go. The first one being Lisandro Martinez, and I might have been a little bit biased going into this transfer. Of course, I'm an Ajax fan in real life. I absolutely love this player in real life, but also in game I know he can become very good. And he can not only play as midfielder, but also as center back. He is not the tallest, but he can still do a job, and also at left back. So versatile player, kind of Fabian Delph, who we already had at the club, who is now gone on a free, I believe. So pretty much his replacement, but then much better. The only downside is that he's not English and he's not homegrown, and Fabian Delph was, but that wasn't necessary in this case. So we brought in Lisandro Martinez, going into the final player. And for this final player, I looked at the clubs that got relegated. And one of those clubs was Aston Villa. And when I say Aston Villa, I think some of you might already guess who we got in. And indeed, it is Jack Grealish. I mean, I didn't expect us to get this transfer over the line, but I'm so happy that we did. We paid a good hefty sum for him. Only 25 million though, for an English player who is homegrown in the league, or in the country, I should say. He is valued at 39 already. He is on 200k a week, but I do definitely think he is worth it again, just like the other players. So we've had 4 transfers, all of them costing a good amount of money, but I think all of them worth it. All of them midfielders, but Martinez can also play in the defense. And Grealish, of course, and Barkley are a little bit more attacking minded, and Marcos Antonio is a little bit more defensively minded, just like Martinez. So I think we've had a very good transfer window. I think our strikers were already good, and the same with our defense and goalkeeper situations. So I think we can be very happy here. Of course, there's always some deadwood that you can try to sell on, but I think we are very close to a very, very good team that could actually challenge for the league title, at least for the Champions League spots. We already could challenge for that last season, but I think we can do even better this year. So without further ado, let's go into the game against Leicester. As I said, we beat Burnley in the first game. Let me show you guys the result. Grealish with his first goal and Calvert-Lewin with the second goal of the match. So now, playing Leicester at home, I think I'm not sure, but I think we should be the favorites for this match. And let's see who we are going to start here. It's going to be difficult decisions every match because there are now a lot of players. Oh, Grealish is injured, by the way, for 3 weeks. But there are now a lot of players in a lot of positions that can do a good job. And that's going to make it very difficult for me to select the team. But I'm going to try my best to select the best players and to keep as many players as possible happy. Right now, a lot of players are concerned, but you always have that in the beginning of the season, or at least I always do, because I don't control the friendlies, so my assistant probably selects the same players every single game. So for this game, Pickford is going to start in goal, Dodo, Godfrey, Martinez, and Digne in the defense, Doucouré and Antonio in midfield, then Richarlison, Barkley, Calvert-Lewin, and Ings at striker. So, a couple of changes from last match. Well, only one. Danny Ings coming in for Jack Grealish because, as I said, Grealish is injured. So, Calvert-Lewin has moved to that left wing spot, and Danny Ings has slotted in at striker. So, I'm very excited for this season, especially with those transfers. I think we can do really well. And also, of course, we have the Europa League to look forward to. As I mentioned earlier, we don't know who our opponents are yet, but we will find out in a couple of weeks' time. And that is, again, something to really look forward to take Everton back up the European rankings. Speaking of the European rankings, the Premier League has stayed in second as Calvert-Lewin already opens the score here. Only 3 minutes played and we're already leading against Leicester. Leicester, who are very good both in the first and the second season. But we seem to be very good against them, which is positive. It's promising for us. This game, hopefully we can pick up the 3 points. We are playing at home too, so it should be a good match. Hopefully, again, we can pick up the 3 points. Looks like we're going to get a penalty kick here. Mark Roca taking down Barkley, and Barkley, even though some of you might disagree with that transfer, already proving to be important for us, because that probably is going to be a penalty. What is the ref going to say? It's not a penalty. It's a free kick. So it was a foul, but it was just outside of the box. And who's going to take it? Marcos Antonio is going to step up behind it, and indeed he heads it away. We still have possession, but now we do lose it. We do still have the lead, though. But as I was saying, the Premier League are still in second in the when you look at the coefficients, and when you look at the league rankings. Actually, not at the coefficients. The coefficients, England is in first, but when you look at the league rankings, the Premier League is in second, behind La Liga. So we definitely still have something to improve on. Besides that, what a close free kick that was by Leicester. Luckily, it went just wide of the post. Besides that, when you look at the club rankings, Everton are now in 77th. Of course, we haven't had any European football this save yet. We will have some this season, at least 6 games. So I'm hoping that we can pick up as many coefficient points as possible. Hopefully we'll get a nice group where we have a good chance to progress in. Because I would like us to get as far as possible, of course. And get those coefficient points up. Get the club, how do you say it? What is it called again? The reputation, of course. How did I lose that word? To get the reputation up, and hopefully we would be able to bring in some better players. I mean, as I said, we've already done some fantastic pieces of business in the transfer window, in the transfer market, but I think we can do even better. And the higher our rep, the more likely players are to want to join us, and probably the more money we could ask for our players, which both of those things are very good and necessary as well, because our finances aren't looking too good, but nothing to be too stressful about just yet. A very boring match besides those maybe 2 or 3 big chances, but other than that, as I said, a very boring match. Maybe we can change something about that right here just before the end of the first half. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin, just when I called to the team to do something, of course, who else than Dominic Calvert-Lewin steps up, scores his second, but also our second, and we're leading 2-0 at the break, and I accidentally said that I'm not happy with the performance. I always do that, I always click the wrong one. The thing is, I'm more used to the Ajax save, and whenever pretty much every single game at halftime with that Ajax save, I say to the players that I'm not happy with their performance because we should be winning every match by around 10-0, but we're not because I pretty much suck at the game basically. So I told the players that I'm not happy, but they reacted well to it. Hopefully we'll keep the lead in the second half. Maybe we'll even make it bigger. But for now, Leicester are on the attack here. Ricardo Pereira plays it back to Højbjerg, and they're playing it around very nicely, very patiently. And while they are doing that, I'm just going to wait out this attack because I've got a feeling that they're going to put it into the net. And Jari Verscharen does exactly that. His first goal of the season. Now we have to tell the players to focus, and hopefully that will have a positive effect on them as well. We're going to look at a substitution here. What can we change? Calvert-Lewin is on a yellow card, but he is playing very well. So let's get him into the striker position. Let's get Ings off for Darami, who is not on loan right now. And who else? Let's put Allen in for Doucouré if the game allows me to. There we go. Let's keep it like that for now. I mean, there's still over half an hour to go. And there's a goal kick for Leicester. We screw up the corner. So there's one more thing I wanted to talk about, and that is the season tickets. So I was hoping that because we were playing in Europe right now, that these season ticket sales would be much higher than last season. But sadly, I was mistaken, as we almost get a third here. Barkley still on the attack here. Antonio switches the play to Dodo. Could he put in another cross? He passes one player. Dodo goes for it himself. And Kasper Schmeichel with a good save, an important save as well for them. That could have been a knockout blow. But luckily for them, sadly for us, he kept it out of the net. So the figures have gone up. We have sold more season tickets than last year. But the difference is very minimal. Last season we sold 32,396 season tickets, and this season we had 32,577 as Batshuayi scores the second, but it looked to be offside, and it is indeed going to be disallowed. So we're still in the lead, still 2-1. But yeah, we've only sold 181 season tickets more than last season. I expected it to be higher, quite frankly. Kind of disappointed that it's not higher. But you can't have everything, and, well, I say that you can't have everything. Dominic Calvert-Lewin proves me wrong as he scores our third of the night and his third of the night. 3-1 to us for... Wait, what? What the hell? I don't know if you guys see the same thing that I'm seeing, but Cristiano Ronaldo is at Liverpool. What? He's 37 years old, might I add. Only valued at 10 million. Only 130k a week. I mean, we could have bought him. Why did we not go in for him? He has played 2 games and scored 2 goals now. That is going to be an insane team to look at. That Liverpool side is going to be very difficult to beat. But if we want to challenge for the league, we're going to have to try our best to do so. Luckily, we don't have to play them right now. We're playing Leicester right now, and we are absolutely dominating them. We've had most of the chances. Of course, Leicester have had 1 or 2, but they've had much less and much less big opportunities than we've had. And not only that, luckily, we've taken our chances as well. I mean, in the past, that definitely was a thing to worry about. But Calvert-Lewin is on top of his game, and we have good players to surround him as well. Players like Richarlison, of course, Marcus Edwards. Speaking of Richarlison, he scores his first of the season, and he makes a gap between us and Leicester 3, and it's 4-1 now with only 10 minutes to go. Let's make that change. Let's get Ward-Prowse in for Barkley, and let's just see this game out. That's an easy 3 points. Look at those stats as well. I don't know it out of my head anymore. But I know that the stats are looking very good in our favor. Richarlison, could we go for a 5th here? No, we lose the ball, and Leicester might try to go for their second, which would only be a consolation goal, but Jari Verscharen puts it wide of the post, and we are almost into injury time. Still not quite there yet, still 3 minutes to go. Calvert-Lewin, could he add a 4th to his tally? And he does! Dominic Calvert-Lewin makes it 5-1 to us, and that is his 4th of this match. And he has had an absolutely insane start to this year's campaign. I mean, that is 5 goals in 2 games, and Leicester is not an easy opponent at all. Look at that. We have had 12 shots on target. They've had 4. our XG is way less than the amount of goals we scored. I don't know how that happened, but I'm not going to complain at all. I'm very happy with that result. That's the most important thing. We've picked up the 3 points. We are in first place right now because of the goal difference. Because, well, quite frankly, we've added 4 to our goal difference thanks to this match against Leicester. So I'm gonna see you guys in just a second for that game against Bournemouth. I don't think the Europa League draw will have been by then. I think that's not until the last week of August. But I'm gonna see you guys in just a second for that Bournemouth game. And there we are, the game against Bournemouth. We're playing away from home, but I do still think we have to be able to pick up the 3 points. We have had one transfer in between, Taylor Harwood-Bellis. Some of you may know him. I had never heard of him before, but he was a youngster at Manchester City, and we bought him. He is touted as a wonder kid, so for a centre-back position, which in my opinion we do need some backup in, especially in the next few years, I think this is a very good signing. I think we can be really happy with him. He is 187 as well. He had already played 2 games in the Premier League this season, and that is for Southampton. So they actually recall him from his loan at Southampton to get him to us. So already played 2 games in the Premier League and 1 in the Carabao Cup. So for a 20-year-old, a pretty experienced player, already 79 games at 3 different clubs, and hopefully he'll get some more game time at us. He is going to start on the bench today. This is going to be the starting 11. Pickford again, Dodo, Godfrey, Martinez, and Digne, Doucouré and Antonio, Chong, Barkley, Richarlison, and Calvert-Lewin. So pretty much the only difference is that Barkley is back in, which means that Chong has gone to right wing, Richarlison has gone to left wing, and Calvert-Lewin has gone back to his favorite striker position, and Taylor Harwood-Bellis gets number 17. So let's get straight into the game. Let's hopefully pick up another 3 points. Liverpool just beat Brighton and Hove Albion by 11-0, and I think it was about 5 or 6 goals from Cristiano Ronaldo. So as I said before, when we have to face them, it's going to be very tough to not let in a single goal. I don't quite honestly see that happening. We're going to try our best nonetheless, but I don't think that's very likely. So, talking about this game, I think we should be able to pick up the 3 points quite easily. We have had the Carabao Cup draw for the 3rd round, which is or was it the 2nd round? Either one of the two. Our expectation is to reach the 3rd round in both the Carabao Cup and in the FA Cup, which should be easy to do. I mean, the FA Cup, we enter in the 3rd round. You know what? I think the FA Cup expectation was to in the 4th round. Having said that, I haven't even shown you guys the expectations, so let's get straight to that, because that is a pretty important part of FM. So, repair the club's financial damage. We had already done that pretty much because the owners gave us a financial injection. They want us to reach the quarterfinals of both the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, not the 3rd round. I don't know how that got into my head. They want us to reach the semi-finals in the Europa League, and they want us to qualify for the Europa League through the Premier League. So, João Pedro with a golden opportunity there for Bournemouth, but luckily him and Deulofeu put it over the net together. So, it was a save apparently, so they do still get a corner kick, and again over the net. So, talking about the Europa League, of course, next episode is definitely gonna be the start of the European adventure, either the first group game or the second group game, depending on what teams there are, and depending on what dates it's gonna be played at, and depending on what games are around that game. So I don't know which one it's gonna be just yet, but I can assure you it's gonna be at least one European game next episode. Because, well, I have looked forward to that in this save already for 2 seasons. We didn't get it at the start. We didn't get it in the 2nd season because we just missed out. But we have gotten it now. And now that we have it, I want to show you guys as much as possible of it. So, that is definitely something to look forward to for next episode. And talking about European competitions, Europa League, Champions League, all that kind of stuff. Of course, they want us to qualify for the Europa League through the Premier League, and I think that is definitely doable. Even though we are still 0-0 here with Bournemouth, so maybe we should revert back to what we're playing like against Leicester. So Richarlison to right wing, Calvert-Lewin to left wing, and Danny Ings as striker. Let's give Harwood Bellis some game time instead of Martinez. Let's see how he does in this final half an hour against Bournemouth. Hopefully he doesn't let in any goals. But as I was saying, they want us to qualify for the Europa League through the Premier League. I think that's doable. But I think, looking at the expectation that they're expecting us to reach the semi-finals of the Europa League, as Digne just narrowly puts that free kick wide of the goal, maybe if we get lucky, we can actually win the Europa League and qualify for the Champions League in that way. So then we would still qualify for the Champions League. We would get a lot of money next year. We would get a lot of money this year for making it that far, and a lot of coefficient points. So only good stuff if we win the Europa League. But again, that's going to be very difficult. There are going to be a lot of very hard teams to beat in there already from the start. But also, of course, the numbers 3 in the Champions League will go down to the Europa League. So that's going to make it even more difficult. There's always a chance of some big team dropping down to the Europa League from the Champions League. So, as the final whistle has gone and this game ends in a very disappointing 0-0, I think for this season there are a lot of positives to look at. I think we've got a good chance of finishing high in the league. We are in 5th right now, which is exactly where we finished last season, but of course this season has just started, so we can't take too much from the league standings just yet. Next episode, as I said, I'm going to meet you guys for the European games. And I cannot tell you when it's going to be. I can't tell you that just yet. We've had the Carabao Cup draw. I said that, but I didn't say what team we were going to face. It's going to be Barnsley at home. So they are a Premier League side starting from this season. Barnsley, though, are in 18th in the Premier League. So it should be a winnable game for us. We'll see about that when we get there. Maybe we can rotate a little bit, having to play Man United only 4 days after, and then Tottenham 6 days after that, and then Liverpool 7 days after that, and then Chelsea 2 games after that. So that's a very tough run of games right there. And of course, the Europa League starts around that time too. So that's going to be a very hectic couple of weeks for us, and it's going to be around this time where I'm going to meet you guys next. As I said, I cannot promise you exactly when it's going to be, but it's going to be somewhere around this time. For now, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe as well if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys for the start of the Europa League very soon. Bye bye.